know it's been a while. Okay. How you been, sir? Hey, Ben. Good to see you. How you doing? Good. Good to see you.
Right up quick. Put that mic flag right in everybody's shop.
Be here would be good.
Of course.
Yeah, because it's too windy for me to use a lot. Jamming.
I'm ready to go.
I'm ready to go too.
Everyone's good?
Good afternoon. Sergeant Robert Gomez, Public Information Officer with the El Paso Police Department. We've received a lot of requests for interviews, reference the community briefs that we have been releasing. We released one on an officer-involved shooting, and just recently we released a video on the in-custody death. Just to give you some history on these briefs, these are a long time in the making. This started years ago with Chief Allen, and we've been trying to develop a way of informing the public timely, accurately, and to give the public a snapshot or a view of what officers are doing out in the streets. It wasn't until we obtained body cam footage that we were able to tell a proper story and give the proper reference to the community, and hence you're seeing the results of those efforts. The community briefs will continue, and they will continue, and our goal is to give the community context, to be transparent, and to have the community see firsthand what these incidents are all about. By no means do these videos replace an investigation. They're in no way a replacement. We draw no conclusions on these videos. They are merely to give context and awareness to the public. The investigations run their course as they normally do, and upon those conclusions of the independent and local investigations, we will make conclusions. But until then, this is just a way of keeping the community informed. So that's the basic overview of the community briefs. I'll take some questions, but we will not be talking about the specifics of any of these incidents.
How do you decide which body camera footage you decide to release or not?
Every case is different. We look at the case and we try to tell the best or show the best context of what's going on by the totality of the circumstances. Obviously, we don't release every body cam footage that occurs, but we'll choose body cams that tell or show the majority of the incident.
Sir, what has been the feedback you've seen from the community?
You know, we've seen a positive impact. Just hearing comments and commentary that we've gotten back is that it's positive. Everybody wants the police department to be transparent. We're doing everything legally possible to be transparent while not jeopardizing these investigations. The officers involved, the employees of the police department, the person that's involved in these incidents all have the right to have these incidents investigated. So it's a very fine balance of investigation and transparency, and we're trying to be right on that edge and keep that balance.
Can you comment on the use of force that we saw in the video?
No, ma'am. Like I said earlier, we are not going to speak of the actual videos. We are just talking of the reasoning for the videos and the process that we are going through in making these videos.
Why share some specific videos when there's still an investigation going on? Like share the videos before the investigation is complete.
These investigations at times can take up to 2 years. we know that is a long time for the public to see what occurred. Like I said, these are not part of the investigation. These are merely to give the community context and insight to what's happening, and not have to wait 2 years. They're not meant to convince anybody that the officers or anybody is at fault. They're merely to give people perspective of what happens. We are aware and we know that there's often cell phone footage, independent video that gets released, and without context, those videos are very difficult to decipher. And we don't want people jumping to conclusions. So we're trying to give people an accurate representation of what happens so they can draw their own conclusions. We would hope until the investigation is complete, but we know that that's not possible. So that's why we chose to release them prior to the investigations being concluded.
Can you talk about how officers train for these types of scenarios in terms of what we saw in the video?
No, I cannot speak about the videos themselves or the training that goes by.
I know you guys mentioned transparency when posting these videos. Can you tell me if you believe this will help build the bridge with the public and encourage their participation in investigations? I mean, helping officers in general.
You know, we have a tremendous support from the community in El Paso. We want to continue to have that support. So this is one way that we want to show the public the ins and outs and what officers are doing out in the field, in order to have the public continue to work with us in hand like they do already. The public trust is a very sacred thing that we hold sacred to us, and we want to continue to have that trust. And we think by releasing these videos, putting these critical incidents out, will help us maintain that trust.
How often do you think the public, the community can, expect to see one of these sort of releases?
Our intent right now is to release videos at least when at least officer-involved shootings, in custody deaths. We haven't ruled out others, but those determinations haven't been made as of right now. So right now they'll be limited to officer-involved shootings, in custody deaths.
Can you explain the in custody or clarify the in custody death part, since maybe people think that in custody means like the person died while with the police department, but we know that he passed away at the hospital. Can you clarify that a little?
Sure. In custody deaths are classified as in custody whenever an El Paso Police Department has arrested or detained somebody. You're in our custody. Now, should you die while in our custody, that would be ruled an in custody death. If an individual later dies but was in our custody, there'll always be a review of that situation to make sure that the cause of any death. So the term in custody means that an El Paso police officer or the department had you in custody under arrest, and you died of some reason, and that's how they're classified. They're all investigated.
How many layers of review do these videos go through before they're released?
Every video is different. There's quite a bit of review. The review traditionally is on the investigative side. The review for the community briefs is different. Our goal and the review process for that video is to make sure that it's giving the individuals or the public an accurate representation of what occurred without compromising the investigation. I will say this about the videos: we are not trying to convince. We are only trying to give a picture of what's going on. It's not drawing any conclusions. It's only there for information purposes so that the community can see. As far as the review, to keep answering your question, it's quite a lengthy process because, like I said earlier, it's a very delicate balance between transparency and investigations, and we have to maintain them. So those processes are lengthy at times or short depending on the incident at hand.
You mentioned Chief Allen. This has been working since his tenure. What does the new chief think about this transparency that you guys are trying to provide to the public?
The community brief concept, like I said, started with Chief Allen. The reason that it wasn't implemented is that it's very difficult to show the public without body cams. So that was always the intention. Other departments do community briefs, and the main thing that you'll see in common with those other departments is body cam footage. That was the missing piece. Chief Pacias is committed to transparency with the community as well as the department, and we believe that this is just one thing we can do in order to keep the public trust and make sure that the community feels safe in El Paso.
Is this a learning opportunity for both the public and the department on policy and procedures?
I believe so. I know that some of these instances maybe create more questions. That's why what we're doing what we're going to do possibly next week is we'll be setting up demonstrations of let's say, arrest procedures for the media, so that you can go through that and interact and give the public and maybe answer some questions that they might have. Those are ways that we can answer questions that the public has without jeopardizing investigations, because we're talking about our arrest procedures. The more the public understands how we conduct business and the reasoning for our actions, the more comfortable they will be around us and understand the force or the actions that we have to take at times.
Are you able to talk about the use of the taser, and the policy behind it?
In general,
Yeah.
that's pretty broad topic. I'd have to narrow that down. That's a couple-hour class to start with.
Mm-hmm.
So I really couldn't answer that and give it any justice right now.
And just to clarify, again, you mentioned that as of right now, the idea is for you guys to do in custody death and or OIS type situations?
Yes. That is. Those are the two videos we have released, and that is the criteria that we have right now. Any other questions?
When any possibility, we kind of touched on it, of that criteria opening up, to other sorts of incidents?
We're not close to any. We're not close to any review of any. The only thing that we have to do is these videos are going to be reserved for the most serious incidents. Right now, the most serious are when somebody dies in our custody, and when an officer has to use deadly force and someone dies. Those are high priorities. Those are very serious in nature, and that's why they're chosen. These videos, as you can imagine, take a lot of time to create. The review process, so they're being confined to only the most serious incidents that occur in our department. Anything else? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.